Game Awards like happened, right? I wasn't able to like live react it because I was having work, right? Like I couldn't like do it. But all of like the nominees like came out for each of the different categories have like came out for the Game Awards, right? The camera's like blocking some of the categories, but the highlighted section under like games for impact is like best action adventure and like best indie debut or something like this, right? But every nominee has been like selected for each like category, and the one thing that really like caught my eye, and this is kind of like what just there for like clout, best fighting game, right? So, and you know me, chat, like I like to like cover most things. I like to cover almost like everything about like things fighting game related, right? So this was like the first instance in my mind. The rest were just like, okay, I'll look at these like later. So best fighting game, right? We have DNF Duel, good contender. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, good contender as well, right? Even though it is a PS3 re-release. King of Fighters 15, great game, but bad matchmaking. Multiverses, hella wild roster, free to play, but you know, for some reason I don't see Multiverses that much of a pop-off now. Like it popped off like a month prior to like Evo 2022, but it just doesn't have like that that popularity again, right? I don't know how much like this the player base is right now for Multiverses, but it feels like only like a few people right now are playing Multiverses, and nobody like else. Like it's not like 90% of like the Steam like community is playing like Multiverses. Right now it's like I can guesstimate like 25%. I mean, I could be wrong, right? Multiverses is a fun like platform fighter, right? And then you have this, right? You have Seafood. This is like, why is this here? Why is like a Devolver Digital game, right? And Devolver Digital made a fighting game called Absolver. It was a over-the-shoulder perspective online PvP type of like fighting game, but it didn't like take off, right? It looked pretty cool. It had a neat concept, but like I never got it. I don't remember much anything else about it. It was mostly like RTS, rock, paper, scissors type of combat. But Sifu is... Why is this like best fighting? Yes, there are fight scenes. Yes, you do like combat and shit like that. Yes, there's execution, right? But is there online PvP for Sifu? No, there's not. Right? Like, that's the thing, is like, you know, this is just here to create like fucking cloud, right? Just to like spread that like, oh, I said this, or I said this like hot topic thing, and then everybody in their right minds are gonna be like tackling this issue that like, you know, why is Sifu here? Or more generally, what is like a fighting game, right? Because like a fighting game, I might have to like go to real talk and discussion. So what makes like a fighting game, you know, simply straight put, like the short and easy, like the scummy answer, or like the short and simple, like multiple choice like answer. Does it have like PvP? Yes. That's what makes like a fighting game like a fighting. Can you fight dudes outside of like computers? Can you fight like actual people? And DNF Duel, JoJo, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, they all incorporate, you know, online PvP, right? That is what makes like a fighting game, you know, a fighting game, right? And this is like one of those like situations, like, you know, this is based on like the Game Informer thing, right? And Game Informer you know, they cover like a lot of things, right? But fighting games is not really like their forte, right? They like to cover everything else, every other like genre. They like to spew high and mighty topics about like action games or narratives or game design and all that stuff. But when it comes to like fighting games, right, outside of like the very selective few that a majority can like catch, that a very few like fighting games that a majority of the major like populace have like a catch your eye like type of feel, is Smash Brothers and Mortal Kombat. Because Smash Brothers, for one, is like the world's biggest like selling Nintendo licensed fighting game, right? And it's the only like platform fighter to ever like include everything from video game like history. Not all of them. There are like certain candidates that were missing in Super Smash Brothers, but it is Smash Brothers now, especially with all of like the DLC and Ultimate, is like a video game like treasure house of memorabilia and nostalgia, right? You have like Banjo-Kazooie, Minecraft Steve. It's literally a fucking like Mugen, but an actual licensed game, and it's a platform fighter, right? So, and of course, you know, Mortal Kombat. It's one of those like, well, what would that be considered like Mortal Kombat? It is a fighting game that has garnished attention only for the fact that it is like that one game that created the whole ESRB rating for fatalities and shit like that. It's that secret like fighting game that you were forbidden to take because you're young, you have no knowledge of like fucking censorship or morality, and playing like Mortal Kombat with their like blood and guts and like how to kill a person, or like, you know, the scantily clad like characters that you find in Mortal Kombat, is the very definition of like, this game is forbidden, you are not allowed to like take it, right? And so, right, those are the only two. And for other games, there are other like fighting games that have reached that major popularity, like catch your eye, like threshold, like fucking Street Fighter or Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is also famous for its popular characters and the like, but not to the grand scheme of Super Smash Brothers. But basically, like, for those like games for those example like fighting games that I mentioned, they're all like fighting games because they have you like online PvP, and it's somewhat sort of like a dissonance, right, with like this like Game Awards, right? And albeit granted, right, Game Awards this year is no stranger to like adding hot topic games that are included in that category, that are not really like considered like fighting games, right? I forgot what was like last year, right? Last year was all I'm saying is that the Game Awards are infamous for like adding games that were not really like fighting games. They were just, some of these like candidates are just there to fill like some like hot topic like Twitter clout. Like, is this a fighting game or not? It causes like that Twitter like angry rant like type of shit, right? And the best answer I can give, chat, is that Sifu is not a fighting game. In order to be like a fighting like game, is that you gotta beat a human ass, not a computer ass, but a human ass. More specifically, a very stinky, mud-butt, hairy asshole. That's what makes like a fighting game, is the person versus person like interaction, right? And you know, that's constitutively what makes like fighting games. And you know, like, again, this will be like an issue like going forward, like let's say Game Awards like 2022, right? Because next year is going to have like potentially Street Fighter 6. Agreed. Yes, thank you, Michael Tempest. Agreed. Exactly. Next year is going to be Street Fighter 6. Next year is going to be like Tekken 8. Next year is like, what else would be there, right? As for like a fighting game, right? There are only like 2 right now coming up, and there's all these other like indie like fighting games like coming soon, right? There's like Blazing Strike, for instance. There's like there could be potentially like Mortal Kombat 12, right? Which is what I'm like banking on for the Game Awards of 2021. No, sorry, of 2022 when the live stream like happens. I'm hoping for Mortal Kombat 12 or something what NetherRealm is like cooking up on the inside, right? And they'll like tease. But yeah, they're like not that many fighting games, but like the next year on the horizon for us to like FG like fans, right, homies, is that, you know, there are more fighting games like coming out, and we are going to be like fed really like good, right? We don't know what will be like on the horizon, but we do know a few things like I said, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken, that are going to be like the legit like fighting games to like come out of like this year. Oh, and there's also like Project L. Project L is also like an upcoming like fighting game. The only problem is that, you know, when is Riot going to be actually releasing like actual like gameplay, a trailer or some kind, instead of like a dev talk from the like the creators themselves, right? Because I have no doubt in my mind that like Project L is going to be like that one fighting game, kind of like on the level of like Smash Brothers or Mortal Kombat, because everybody plays League, right? League is like the #1 like esport, #1 like game, right? To have like on your PC. It's free to download as long as you have the recommended like specs. It's easy to like install. There's a lot of like champions across like the border for League of Legends, right? You have a lot of different modes. You have like PvP, right? And Riot is like broadening their horizons by like making like other games in their lineup, like Valorant, which is a first-person shooter kind of like League with abilities. And then you have Project L, which is like their upcoming fighting game based on League characters, right? And for me, you know, a fighting game is like a good way because like there are already like fighting game elements inside of like League, like parries and iframes and armor and stuff like that, right? So what better way to like showcase like the potential or the stylish factors of League than like in a fighting game, right? And apparently like the League roster, the Project L roster has been like leaked, right? Apparently there are going to be 23 characters, but I could be wrong because it is like a leak, so take this with a grain of salt. Like there's going to be like Riven, Blitz, Thresh, there's going to be Set in the game, right? And so many like others, right? But what I'm saying is like Project L is from Riot, right? And Riot is known for like giving that free like discount by making the game that's going to be the first like free fighting game, and that's going to be the hugest fucking fighting game in terms of like roster. Because if you really think about it, League of Legends has like what? How many like champions are there in like League? 100 plus champions right now? That's pretty big for like a roster, and the closest one we got was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, right? And of course you have like lovable characters from like the League verse that anybody could like hop in on and just like start beating ass, right? And of course we saw like gameplay of Project L. It's going to be a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite type of style. It's a 2v2 like fighting game similar to like MVCI and BlazBlue Cross Tag. We don't know about like gems yet. We don't know how like items will like play a factor in the game, but it's going to be 2v2. It's going to be active switch, right? Which is what MVCI was really the star of is that you can tag in like your partner at any time on the fly, right? And it's gonna be like that, right? But that is like a fighting game, right? It's not like a Sifu, right? And Sifu, albeit it's a very good like video game, right? But it is like an action game, right? You play through a story, yes, and fighting games do have like stories, but is there like, do you fight another person like online? Do you fight another Sifu? That could be like a later on like update by Devolver Digital. You could fight another Sifu in a different like universe. Something like, you know, that Michelle Yeoh movie, Everywhere, Everything at like Once. That movie was pretty bombastic. I haven't seen it, but like the trailers for it, I've seen it like a lot. But yeah, like Sifu is not like a fighting game, and will sort of like create this like hot topic like issue of like what makes like a fighting game, because again, Game Awards has a habit of like putting in like games that are not like actual fighting games, right? Of course, you know, the last couple of years we've seen like anime like fighting games, and we've seen like one game in the fighting game category like Jump Force. I think in like 2019 or 2018. It didn't really fit at all, right? Because like, yes, it's PvP, but like nobody wanted to like consider Jump Force like an actual like fighting game. To be like a fighting game is also like not just like online PvP, but does it have like that street cred that makes it into a fighting game? Is there like official tournaments for said fighting game? Can Jump Force or like One Punch Man or the Demon Slayer fighting game, do they like go on to big podium like stages like EVO? No. They're small, like casual, friendly like fighting games, and they are not to be like taken on the serious like map that other fighting games are, right? And you know, that's just the way they are. They're just like, Bamco just produces out like fighting games that are not meant to be taken into any serious level, but are just there for like shits and giggles, like local party only with like your friend. I would be damn surprised like if there's like an actual like tournament scene for like said fighting games. I know there's like an actual tourney scene for that one like Naruto game, not one of the Storm games, but the Clash of Ninja games, like Clash of Ninja 4, the Japanese version, right? Like, to me, like that's wild. Like, part of me wanted to like try that game again, right? Because I played that when I was young. But the extent of those like games only get to like small locals, right? And not like big ass like locals, right? But just like small like urban areas, one that will not catch like the esports eye, right? Like, it's not like Naruto is gonna be featured at Next Level Battle Circuit, right? Or like East Coast like Throwdown. There will be like small tournaments for those, but you won't get like 100, 200, or even like 300 viewers for the Naruto like fighting games and so on and so forth, right? That's just like the sad state of like all these like potential like fighting games, right? Like the ones that I've like mentioned, is that they don't get like that street cred like Street Fighter or Tekken or all those shits, because they have actual like tourney scene. They've been on the map ever since like they've been made, right? But yeah, like I just wanted to like make that convo like a little bit short, because you know, yeah, Game Awards can be pretty like wild. It is like the video game Christmas, right? This is our second Christmas for us like gamers. We have regular Christmas around like 24th to 25th. This is our Christmas, right? Not just for like the actual like presents that we get in terms of like trailers, but just like we're there to like have like a good time. Yeah, right? Like, it's the same. And this is also like a Game Awards, right? this is like a similar shit to like the fucking Oscars or Academy Awards, except that we don't give a shit about the Academy Awards or Oscars because there are some like conceptions about those events that they can be rigged, which is true. The Oscars are like one of the known like rigged like things for like the longest of time because they pick like legacy actors or like just like it sometimes can be like racist at times for like picking purely like one like white actor when that one African American or black actor did a very good spot on job performance, but the game is like rigged so that they'll pick the white person like anyway, right? But we'll just like go over, skim through like some of like the games that are available on each category. And then of course I'll be like voting, right? Because I have my profile here, right? So Game of the Year, Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Stray, and Xenoblade 3. I'm gonna say God of War. So there you go. Vote placed. And granted, right? These votes only count for like 10%. Right? The voting is an important process, right? But in these types of like award shows, our votes count like rarely little. But it's still like good to like input your voice into like these candidates, you know? Think God of War will win? That's a little bit of an iffy thing, right? Because the Game Awards now, like this year, it has like a good contender, and that's Elden Ring. And everybody loves Elden Ring. It's like Dark Souls, like, well, not 2.0, but it's like a new like Dark Souls, and everybody loves the crap out of like the Soul series. I've played Elden Ring. I got up to like the fucking the Hogwarts castle in that place, and it was fun, but Elden Ring just is kind of like a soul. It is a Souls game, and Souls games kind of like stress the shit out of me, right? Like I need like a partner or like a guide, a person that helps me walk through the map of a Souls game, right? Because I don't know what the fuck can happen. Everything will just like kill you like on the spot. So it can be like a little bit intimidating. I'm aware that these games like exist and are there and are some of the most like widely known like video game genres like out there. But yeah, like I'm happy just like being a spectator and watching it. I'd rather not like play it. But as far as like game nominations go, God of War and Elden Ring are like tied because they got like the most nominations in almost half of these like categories on the Game Awards. And what do I like pick, right? I think like God of War Ragnarok, maybe because, you know, it is like that Sony big budget money. They do know how to tell like a very good story and good narration. That's what like God of War is like known for. That's what everybody likes about like God of War 2020. No, sorry, not 2020. 2018. Is that the story is properly cohesive. You can actually like follow along. The camera sets up really well for like narration and all that jazz. So yeah, God of War is really good for those aspects. Best Game Direction, awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Right? So I'm gonna say like God of War like again. Best Narrative, God of War again. I haven't even played A Plague's Tale Requiem. I didn't try Horizon. I don't know what the fuck Immortality is, but I could definitely vouch for Plague's Tale Requiem and Horizon Forbidden West because I've watched this one and I know the story of this one. They're pretty good, solid like games, and they make you like give a shit. But I think God of War is just the best because like I feel like, again, it's that good narrative. It's that good pacing of like a story, right? And story, I usually say it's like, you know, point A to point B, right? Like that's like your story, that's your synopsis, right? But how do you get to like point A to point B is like the thing. What's like the process? Where do like characters come and go? Like, is it smart? Is it like bad? Or like, it's definitely one of those like things. Best art direction. Oh, a lot of these are really good contenders, right? A lot of these, all 5 of these are really good like picks. But if I were to like pick one, I say Scorn, right? And like, I know, me and my boy Crack Rock Steady have talked about this with Scorn countless of times when the game like came out. It's a fun concept. It's actually a fucking art book, right? About like dicks and birth canals and like all this sort of like disturbed shit that the artist H.R. Giger was thinking of during his like young days in his like sleep. But we're just like looking at it from art, right? It's not like, you know, how like the game is. It's not like how I feel. H.R. Giger was great, yeah. It's not like how the game is or like what you do in the game, but it's more like looking at the environments. It's an art book with a game, yeah. Yeah, if it wasn't like for the game, if it was just like a walking simulator, right? You could have like puzzles, maybe. I don't know. The debatable thing is about the combat of Scorn, but if it was just like the environments, like the walls and all that shit, every nook and cranny of Scorn's like settings, just environments and all that jazz, comes right out of fucking Aliens. And where does Aliens come from? H.R. Giger, right? And Giger's like known for like, you know, these fucking disturbed ass like, not really like Bloodborne, because Bloodborne's a little bit more gothic, but just all these like fleshy like crevices on like the wall and shit like that. It's so like creepy that that like art is always known for like their creepy like environments. Some artists definitely approach that level of detail that like, oh, disturbing can be pretty intriguing, right? So like Scorn is definitely like one of those like things, right? Everything just like animates like a fucking like fleshlight, you know? But yeah, like Scorn, I would see like best art direction. There is like Stray, and I've seen Maximilian_Dude play Stray, but I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit biased because like Scorn is so like trippy and like disgusting and disturbing. Alright, next one, right? Best score and music, right? So this is another debate, right? Because, you know, I haven't heard much of Plague's Tale Requiem music. I've heard a little bit from like Elden Ring. God of War is definitely good Elden Ring music. Definitely good like music. I don't know about Metal Hellsinger, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that one is good because like it's a legendary composer, Yasunori Mitsuda, and I think he did like other like Xenoblade games. He's like the composer for like the, what was it, the first like Xenoblade game where you like run into like the fields and shit, the power fields. But I haven't played it because like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is like, or the Xenoblade series outside of Gears is not my cup of tea, right? It reaches to the demographic of like gamers that really love like that really love anime and VTubers, and I like anime, but not to like a holy metric ton. Right? If something interests me, something interests me. That's it. I'm not gonna like everything. So I'm gonna say give it to like maybe like I kind of want this underdog to win though, because God of War Ragnarok is the same as like God of War 2018, at least in terms of music. So I'm gonna say Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Best audio design. Audio design. I have no idea about this. Right? Horizon Forbidden. I'm almost tempted to vote Gran Turismo, guys. I am almost tempted to vote Gran Turismo, the racing game. Bro, when you hear like the engine go vroom vroom and shit, it feels beautiful. Alright. So let's pick Gran Turismo. Alright. This is something crazy, right? Best performance, right? So these are all like the voice actors that play video games, right? Horizon Forbidden West. Plague Tale Requiem. Nah. God of War Ragnarok. Christopher Judge. Boy. From Boy. And Immortality. I think I would say Boy because yeah, like the Boy definitely got like that glow up in the sequel, right? Because apparently I heard from rumors that like God of War Ragnarok was supposed to have like the Boy's like child voice, but then like COVID happened and then years of like development happened, so he definitely got a little bit older, but damn, you still like recognize and feel the Boy. Games for Impact. I don't know any of these. I do not know any of these games. Thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I don't know any of these. What the fuck is like I was a teenage exocolonist? What the fuck is this? I will say like A Dusk Falls just cause. I don't give a fuck. Best ongoing game. I might as well give it to Genshin? Because I think I saw like one update for Destiny. There are a lot of updates for Fortnite, but you know, not to the T that like I feel Genshin Impact does, because like I have a lot of friends that play Genshin Impact, right? And I'm pretty sure they could like vouch, maybe, that like Genshin Impact has almost equal updates as like Fortnite in terms of like how many characters are being like added, because Fortnite is like a guest character like battle royale shooting game. There's so many characters in this game, and I'm surprised that like, wait, Fortnite added this character? So I'ma say Genshin Impact. I'm gonna say Genshin Impact. Best indie game. Oof! Three candidates that are really good, right? Cult of the Lamb, Sifu, or Stray. I've not played Cult of the Lamb, but I heard it was pretty good. I've not played like Tunic though. Tunic just looks like a Zelda, but with furries. You play as like a fox. I've seen Neon White, but like I saw like gameplay of it from Switch Directs, and I'm like, bro, why the fuck am I playing a shooter but you get to use like cards? It's like I'm playing like Twisted Fate in League. And like in the worst way. So I'm gonna say Sifu. I'm gonna say Sifu, though. Sifu was a really good like indie action game. Best mobile game. For the best game playable on a mobile device. Apex Legends, Diablo, Genshin, Marvel Snap, and Tower of Fantasy. I can see Genshin Impact earning like best mobile game though. Tower of Fantasy can be a little bit finicky because like sometimes like the game shuts off willingly, like randomly on its own. I don't know about Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal is like some wild fucking choice. But I'm gonna give it up to Marvel Snap. Yeah, I'll say like Marvel Snap. This game is like a card game, and I've not like actually played it. I want to play it. Well, let's see. Right? But I just want to... But I saw like Justin Wong, and I see a lot of like the FGC community streamers play Marvel Snap and having like a ball and good time. Best community support. Outstanding community, transparency and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. I don't know about No Man's Sky. I thought No Man's Sky is dead, but like I'm always surprised that like it shows up every once in a while. Fortnite. I'm gonna say 14. Well, wait. If I like think about it, were there like any new updates to 14? LOL's No Man's Sky. Yeah, right? Like No Man's Sky just somehow like makes it here. I thought that game was like dead. But apparently it got some like polishes here and there over the years, and it's not that bad, functionally bad of a game. You know? Like it's pretty wild. But I think I'll say like 14 though. Just from my boy Frankleton streams. Innovation and accessibility. So this is recognizing games that pushing the medium forward by adding features to help games being played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. So like blind, deaf, autistic, paralyzed, or handicapped, you know, all that jazz, right? Which one has the widest like girth? I don't even know. I'm like surprised Last of Us Part 1 is even like considered, because like again, Last of Us 1 is like an unnecessary remake. Like bro, like I thought the PS3 visuals for Last of Us Part 1 looked really good. So why did they have to like remake it again? Money. Why did they have to like remake it? Not again, I mean? Money. That's why. I'ma say like The Quarry. Just randomly. But then there's also like God of War, right? I have not seen so many accessibility features in God of War. Like that, like it compiles like a fucking like shopping list. But I can't like vouch for like the rest here because, you know, I've seen Quarry. I know of Last of Us Part 1, but I haven't played them. So I'm gonna say like God of War. What else is there? Best VR. Oh, best virtual reality game. Fuck, I don't have VR headset, right? This is so weird because like Among Us VR. What do you do in Among Us VR, bro? That game is still around? That game is not dead? Fuck. What was it? I think I'll pick Among Us VR. Just for like shits and giggles. Alright, best action game, right? Among Us only like came out, right? It wasn't that like long ago. Among Us came out only 2 days ago? You mean like the actual game or like VR? Micro Tempest. Because like the game like came out in like 2016 and then it soared in popularity in 2020 because of COVID. Or do you mean like the VR one? Oh, the VR version? 2 days ago for that VR? Man, wow. But again, it's still like Among Us, right? The concept is still there, just in a different like format. Either way, I'm still like voting that shit. Alright, best action game, right? So, Bayonetta, Call of Duty, Neon White, Sifu, and TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Woof! 3 fucking candidates that I gotta consider, right? This is what I also have like a debate on with Call of Duty, because is Call of Duty like an action game? I don't think so. Right? It has like a good campaign like story, and every time I like talk to Jerry, or my boy Azazos Orlando, right? They say like they can vouch that like the Call of Duty stories are pretty lit, but I don't know. I feel like that's Call of Duty's kind of different from games like Bayonetta or Sifu, where they're literally like action sequences, right? They're like QTEs, or like there's like there's like race against the clock like type of events, you know? So, albeit, you know, TMNT is fun, but it is like a beat 'em up, so it doesn't really count like an action game, right? Sifu and Bayonetta are like close, but like I feel like Bayonetta 3 is like a big like bombastic upgrade from Bayonetta 1 and 2, right? You get to do like so much in that game. It's crazy. Everything is like super giant. The weapons are fantastic to play as, right? So I'm gonna say Bayonetta 3. Platinum at least like deserves that much from all the shit that they've been like under in Twitter, and with like Helena Taylor, that like they need to have like some brownie points, right? They are a company, yes, they are a video game company, and what are video game companies? Sleazebags, right? Because like they profiteer from like hardworking like VOs, for instance. But Platinum can be willing to go through the pedal to the metals, right? Go through like the hurdles that like they can pay more by supporting them. But you know, again, it's like a video game company, so who's to say, right? Best action adventure game for combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. I don't think Stray doesn't have any combat. You just like hide and run away from police cops. Tunic just plays like a Zelda, so maybe? So maybe? I don't know about for Horizon, because it plays like a third-person shooter. Right? Not like to the sense of like a fucking Gears or something like that, but you do have a bow and arrow. That's your primary use of a weapon. You whack people with a bow and arrow. But mainly what you're doing is shooting. You're aiming at shit. Right? So it's not really like, maybe like combat. Combat would be like, you know, you get on like your fisticuffs and like throw down, right? Plague's Tale, not really. So I would say like God of War, maybe. Yeah, God of War. I feel like, albeit it's the same from 2018, just with more fluff. But yeah, I feel like there's also like the puzzle solving component, and like God of War is all about like those puzzles. Best role-playing game. With rich player customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. I could see the scum answer being like Elden Ring, but there's also Pokemon and Xenoblade, right? And now like RPGs are like they're evolving. They're like evolving. They're still like the same format. Live Alive is pretty good. Triangle Strategy is, I've heard, pretty good. But I kind of want to give it up to Xenoblade 3 because I think it deserves that. Right, this is like the one like JRPG that a lot of my friends are like really like, that a lot of my friends are really like dying in on, or like not dying in, I'm sorry, sinking their teeth on. So I'm gonna say Xenoblade 3 just for like them, because it definitely deserves it. Best fighting game, KOF. I don't need to say anymore. That game is like a literally good fighting game, but the only problem that hinders it back is the awful matchmaking, how to connect to people, right? JoJo, not really, because, you know, JoJo is delay-based, right? You can play on Parsec, but it's still like a PS3 re-release. DNF Duel is dead. Multiverses, I don't know. Seafood, do I even to answer? Come on now. Y'all should be better than that. Best family game. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Oh, so like play with your little niece type of shit. I'ma say Nintendo Switch. Right, like, albeit there's Splatoon 3 and Kirby and the Forgotten Land, but I feel like Switch Sports definitely brings back the nostalgia vibes of like playing with your like Wii. I definitely got that reaction when I like played with my cousins and we would just play like Wii bowling like crazy, or like Wii baseball. I love those days, man, and this is just kind of like revitalizes that energy back. It's super fun. I want to like play it again. I actually should like stream it, right? I want to play Switch Sports, but with like people around. Best sim strategy. Fuck, I don't play sim games. What the fuck? Mario. Sure, why not? Best sports racing game. I'll say the skateboarding game, because that looks visually pleasing. Best multiplayer, oh yeah, this is gonna be a tie, right? Between Multiverses or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right, because like, this is a platform fighter with a lot of like crazy Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network characters. I'm gonna say TMNT, right? I think TMNT deserves that much because, you know, it's .emu, I like the company, right? And this game, like, albeit there were previous beat 'em ups before, but this is like nostalgia beat 'em ups, right? It reminds you of playing old TMNT games like growing up, and even if you're like a new person to beat 'em ups, it just feels like a raw multiplayer like experience. Overwatch is Overwatch, right? Like, do I need to like say anymore? It's 5v5 combat and it's the same as like Overwatch 1, just with like new characters and all that shit. Splatoon, same as like Splatoon 1 and 2. Call of Duty is, I guarantee this is gonna be picked as like best multiplayer, right? Because it's COD in the name. Definitely like has that. Content Creator of the Year, I only know Nibelian because, you know, this person gives out a lot of like Twitter news and a lot of video game news that's been very influential and helpful to us like gamers. And recently he made the announcement that he's retiring, that he's not going to be on the platform anymore. So his protege, Wario64, is going to be taking up that mantle. But we all remember Nibelian for giving us like all the latest updates to game directs, gaming news, etc., etc. He was like a pioneer, right? So I'm gonna say Nibelian. Best debut indie game. Neon White? Nah. I don't think Neon White like would be like a best debut indie game because of like the aesthetics. I find stark contrast with it. I don't know what Norco is. It sounds interesting. Stray is definitely like a good candidate. There's also Tunic. I don't know what Vampire Savior is. Kinda definitely looks like the kinda looks like a pixely type of like game. I think I'll give it to like Stray though. Best, oh, okay, this is gonna be rough, right? Best adaptation from a video game to like a new like media like outlet, right? What's gonna be the got my axe. What's gonna be like the best like form of medium from a video game, right? Is it gonna be League of Legends Arcane? Is it going to be Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Cuphead Show, Sonic, or Uncharted? I've watched Sonic. It was a really good movie. Uncharted as well. Uncharted is a really good movie. It has Mark Wahlberg, but man, I can't diss my boy Tom Holland giving a good Nathan Drake impression, or like not really a Nolan North impression, but like he did his best, right? He's still like charming. He's still like a goofball. Cuphead Show I have not seen, but I've heard from friends that like it was not a very good show. It was not a good adaptation to the faithful classic. So either Arcane or Cyberpunk. I see the scum answer for this, or the very rigged answer, that it's gonna be Arcane, right? But I feel like Cyberpunk Edge Runners is like my vote, right? Not just because of like, you know, it's an anime, right? It's made by Studio Trigger, but like the impact that Cyberpunk Edge Runners had because of its story. I've heard good things about Cyberpunk, but not seen it. Oh, I watched it with friends, Michael Tempest, and we can pretty much vouch for you that like you should go and watch it. And it's definitely one of those like feels like animes, right? I've watched Arcane and enjoyed it. Yeah, Arcane is pretty good. It definitely has some like beats and moments that like make you feel for like the cast, right? Especially for like the plight between Jinx and Vi. Right? But Cyberpunk Edge Runners is a good anime because like it revitalized Cyberpunk 2077. After all the shit that they've been through with like all those crapastic bugs, and like they've gotten better over the years, but like Cyberpunk Edge Runners literally created new fans of the series and returned old fans to the game. Right, so that is pretty freaking sick that like an anime can have that much of an impact. And of course, you know, the songs, right? The songs were really good. The characters are really good. You feel like you mourn with David's plight, and you want to fuck Atom Smasher, right? So I'm gonna say Cyberpunk Edge Runners, right? They deserve that much. Of course, you know, I have my own preferences, right? Studio Trigger, like, animation doesn't really, like, do it for me. But the plot and the characters really, like, do it. And you could, like, get past that. Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil, Starfield, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I want to say it's either between Final Fantasy 16 and Legend of Zelda because of like the name alone. So either one of these will be like a rig system, right? I forget that like Hogwarts exists, right? Like, what the fuck? Why isn't Street Fighter 6 in here? Because again, like Game Awards doesn't count fighting games to that cup of tea like other video games are. But at least Capcom is there with Resident Evil 4, so I'm gonna say Resident Evil 4. There you go. It may not be survival horror to some critics, right? But like, goddamn, Resident Evil 4 was a fantastic fucking game, and they're remaking that shit? Oh boy. Best esports game. I'll say League of Legends. Right? It's still like the dominant fucking esports thing. Best esports athlete. I don't know any of these guys. Say Faker. Because that's all I know from like these guys. I don't know anyone else. So I'm gonna just say this Faker. Best esports team. I don't know. I don't know who the fuck are these guys. Gen G or some shit. Pick like random. I don't care. Best esports coach. I don't know. Eric. Let's say this guy. Best esports event. Evo! I'm picking that. I don't care if it doesn't have like a trophy compared to the rest of this, but like, Evo? I'm signing up. And there you go. Everything is done. Everything is done. All the categories have been filled. Everything has been fixed, right? So we're done. We're done with all the Game Awards. I didn't think we would like go this long, but we did. I didn't think we'd go with this long, but we did. Chat. Goddamn.